All right, let's go over the building instructions from this kit to build a lever, which is gonna look like this. All right, so I'm gonna go pretty quickly, but you can pause at any point in time if you need help with a particular step. All right, so here we go. So first, we're gonna gather all the stuff, a little bit about the nomenclature of the things we're gonna use. This is called a beam or a lift arm, and it's designated by the number of holes that it has in it. These only come in odd numbers except for number 2. So this is 15, you're gonna need the 15, and then you're also gonna need a 9, and these are always odd numbers. The other thing to notice is that when it calls for an axle, the axles are either 8, 9, 10, 11, and those are by the number of holes. So we're gonna need an 8 axle, and you can see how the 8 axle covers 8 of the holes, whereas an 11 axle, which is yellow, is 2 longer, or will cover than the 9 here, and will cover all the whole 11 holes of that axle. The other thing to notice is that we have these 3 long black pegs. There are also 2 long black pegs in the kit, but the 3 long ones have a 2 long axle and a 1 long peg. Okay, so as we go through, I'll note when you can make substitutions in the kit. Well, let's go ahead and get started. We're gonna go ahead and grab one of these 15s, and we're gonna make 2 of these exactly the same. So we're gonna grab one of the 3 long pegs, and now notice that there are 2, then there's a collar, and then there's a 1, right? So that's important to notice because we wanna put the short end in the hole, 4 down. See how there's a space of 3? Then we want to get another one with a space of 3. And now, just simply because there aren't enough of these blue pegs in the kit, we're going to go for one of these black pegs. And if for whatever reason you can't find one of the black pegs, you can always use one of the red ones for this part of the step. It doesn't matter. Just be careful that you only push it in 1 click, not 2 clicks. We only want it 1 click if you use a red one. All right, so you're going to do that. Then we're going to flip it over, and we're going to put in 2 pegs from the other side. So we're going to put 1 in there, and then we're going to put another one in there. Sorry, they're in there. All right, so 1 in the end, 1 a little bit down. All right, so we're going to do that. Then we're going to build another one. 3, 3. And the black one is simply here just for aesthetics, just so it looks balanced, right? So now we have 2 of those. So that's what we need. Now what we're gonna do, the instructions say to get one of these 9 long ones. And the 9 long one goes so that it's not quite at the end, right? It's 1 down. And then the next one goes not quite at the end, so that there's a gap of just a single space here. And in that single space goes our 11 long yellow axle with a grommet on one side to hold it in. These guys are called grommets or bushings, and another one on the other side to hold it in. And then you can space that about in the middle. All right, so now we have that guy. Now what we want to do is we want to get this cross block connector, and it's yellow. And into that cross block connector, we're going to put 1 yellow 3 long peg and 1 black 8 long peg. And we're going to go ahead and make another one of those. So a yellow 3 long peg, a black 8 long peg. All right, and what we're going to do with this guy is, if we look at our building here so far, we're going to stick the piece in like that, right? So it's just, now notice how it's really loose and it could fall off. So if you want to, you can go ahead and take your other 15 right now and slide it over that black peg and over those 2 blue pegs down a little bit lower, all right? And now it's not going to fall out. But notice how it's still a little bit loose. All right, so now we're going to flip over and do that on the other side. So we're going to stick that guy in there. And then we're going to put our 15 long black peg on the end. Right, and so now you can sort of see we're starting to get something that looks pretty symmetrical, but not quite. Now notice how this separates, which is why there's a red grommet there and a red grommet here, and those red grommets provide tension. So now see they keep it from separating. Now we'll go ahead and do it on the other side. Excuse me. And now we're going to match it up again with the short end of our blue pin. There, 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 and on the other side, there, and there. And now, like I said, if you can't find another one of those black ones, it's in there somewhere. You can use a red one. Just only click it in one. It'll just look a little different, but that's okay if you want to do that for right now. But I'll go ahead and put that one in. All right, so that's what you should look like, perfectly symmetrical. This right in the middle. So this should balance. See how it perfectly balances? All right, so this is our lever. Archimedes said, give me a lever big enough and a fulcrum, and I can move the world. Let's make our fulcrum next. All right, next we're going to make the fulcrum. So in your kit came one of these green plates, or it could be a different color. It might be white or blue or black, whatever. But the plates are all the same. They look about like that. And to that, now we're using these 2 long black pins. And we want to put these into our plate, one down from the end. Then we'll put a second one in. And we'll flip it around. Put it one in from the end. Put it next to the trim. Now if you have trouble getting your pegs to go in, just gently wiggle it. Don't press really hard, because wiggling it really gently will get it to slide into place. All right, now from that, you're going to want to get one of these long orange ones, and notice how it has this cross type there, and then it has a circle type hole. So we want to make sure and line up the 2 black pegs. See how they come through there, leaving that cross open. Now into the end of this, we want to stick 2 more black pegs. Now we can't stick the black peg in here because it's a cross type. So we'll go ahead and put 2 black pegs in down one level. All right, next we're going to want to grab one of these L lift arms and stick that on. All right, and now we're going to need to grab one of these red ones, and that's going to go all the way through that black lift arm, or the gray lift arm, excuse me. All right, and then we're going to have one of these black T pieces, and it's going to click on. And you'll notice that this red piece has friction, so it doesn't slide easily, but this can move. That's okay. We're just going to leave it like that for right now. All right, on to the end here, we're going to put this 3 long piece. So this is the equivalent of 3 holes. So it's 3 long, and it has a cross type on the end. So we can stick that on. And then we're going to stick another red one on like that. And now what we're doing is we're building the second half, just like this first half. We have to sort of do it in reverse order. So I'm sticking that gray lift arm on there, the L shape. And this gets 2 pegs up here. And then we're going to go ahead and add one of these on. Now, since we have to connect it at 4 different spots, it helps to connect it at 2 of the spots. See how I sort of tip it on there? Wiggle it a little bit, right? But not push it all the way on. And then I'll work on the top because there's some flexibility here, right? And I'll wiggle the top to get that on. Click, click. All right. Now the last piece is we're going to add another black one on there. And then on the ends, we're going to put in these orange ones. And notice they don't go in all the way because, see, there's the cross type, so it won't press in. But what it allows us to do later on when we're doing our lessons is it allows us to tip this up and then press it in and see now how it sort of locks it into place. But for right now, we're just going to leave it like that and put one on the other side. So that's our fulcrum, and our lever should fit right in our fulcrum like that. And you can see how these stick out, so we can use them for put it wherever we want to put it. All right, so now we're going to make our weight. All right, for our weight, we're going to use this motor, right? It's sort of heavy. It's not super heavy, but it's the heaviest piece we have. So this is our wind-up motor that comes in the kit. And for that, we want to notice how it has 2 sides. It has the 5 holes here. It has the 2 holes up here at the top, to start off with, we're going to be down here on the bottom, and we're going to use these long blue ones. Now remember how it has a stop. So one side has 2, one side has 1. We want to push all the way through, so it looks like that. We want to push all the way through, so it looks like that. And then what's going to go on each side is you're going to grab one of these orange L's, and see how it clicks on, and see how we're making it go right up the outside of our weight. We can go ahead and put the one on the other side. Okay, so it looks like that. Now on these other holes up here, we're going to take another blue one and we're going to poke it through like that. And then we're going to take one of these gray ones. This is 5 long, right? See, it's the same as that orange one. I'm going to slide it through there. Now it's not going to stay. See, it's just going to spin. But to get it to stay, we're going to grab a 2 long lift arm. This is the only one that isn't an odd number. It's 2 long. And notice how it's a cross type and a circle type. So the cross type, and I'm going to have to hold on to the axle here so it doesn't push through. Right? We'll stick that on like that, and then that can go over our circle. And then we'll do one from the other side. Put the cross type on, and then we'll push it through so it's about even. Okay? So that's how we're going to start there. Now we're going to add some of our accessories. So on this side, we're going to grab one of these pieces. Notice it has 2 axles on either side. And we're going to grab this orange piece and we're going to stick them together. Now we want to make sure the holes are the same way. We don't want to have it that direction. See how they're opposite? So we want to make sure they're the same way, like that. And then we can put a peg in there, and a peg in there, see the end and the next one, and that exactly will line up with that piece that we just made. Then we'll flip it around, put a peg in there, put a peg in there, make another one of these little arms, right, and click that on. And now on the top, we have these chrome silver macaronis, and those we want to have facing in. And if you really want to, you can certainly use the orange ones if you want to use the orange ones, but I thought that might as well use the silver ones, they're nice and cool. All right. Now we want to put some pieces on the other side. So we're going to do these orange, or these red cross type blocks, like that. And these, just click on the end. We have to make sure we line up the crosses, like that. And then these orange pieces through like that. Now the reason why we have these hooks here is because now when we're putting our weight on, see how it can lock in, right? And it keeps it, but we can still hook some pieces on there if we need to. And that just didn't work out with our patterning here. We needed 3 to get everything to fit. And that one is just 2 there at the end. So, but we can still get stuff to hook on. And now we are going to put it here with our lever, and we can go ahead and see how it affects how easy it is to move that weight. And if we want to, now we can close these pieces, right? And now that keeps that from coming off. That's why I have it like that. All right, I will see you in class.